Is someone going to explain to me why a human woman has been dragged in front of my court? Need I remind everyone present that the last time a human has stepped foot in our nation was several generations ago, if ever? So why am I looking at one now? What? A criminal? My, oh my. The first human in our nation for generations, and they've become a criminal. I am afraid I can't say I'm surprised. Even after hundreds of years, humans still remain greedy. How is it that such an advanced species could give in to such base-level instincts to steal from a nation they don't know? What did they steal? A loaf of bread. You have brought a criminal that has stolen a singular loaf of bread in front of the Crown's court. Are you aware of how absurd that sounds? You have brought this human in front of me simply because they are a human, haven't you? Do not learn from these apes. We have been apart from this discrimination for generations. Why are we giving into it now? We are above these creatures. We are above discrimination and prejudice, and we are above mistreatment. If this was an elf who had stolen a loaf of bread, I'd never have heard their name. Gods above, I would have never even heard that a loaf of bread was stolen. They would have been fined, given a slap on the wrist, and walked away. My anger is not subsiding. This matter is not up to the court to decide. This is a matter of my own. On my name as king, I will not allow any of you to interfere in my decision. Even if you do attempt to override my authority, I needn't remind you all of what the consequences will be. You, human, stand up. You look malnourished. You haven't eaten, have you? And that's why you stole the bread. Save it. I don't want to hear your excuses. I can already make my own judgment and assumption. And I've already made a decision based on a number of factors. But as the first human visitor to our nation in generations, allow me to extend a greeting, if you haven't had one already. Welcome to the elven nation of Thistlemead. I am King Thespian, and I will be your personal judge, jury, and executioner. Royal protocols be damned. You've all disappointed me immensely. My own court, lavished by such childish instincts of discrimination simply against an elf. We have not discriminated against our dwarf partners, have we? No. so we treat humans the way we treat everyone. If they mistreat us, that is down to them, and the consequences will be severe that follows, but we do not make an example out of a petty thief. However, I am aware of the populace's standpoint on other races, especially of humans. So I will see to it their punishment is severe. They will have an example made out of them. Come now, human. I would say it's about time you followed me. Overseer, take them to the side lounge, would you? I'll meet them in there shortly. See to it they don't resist before I get there. You know, the last time I interacted with a human in private, it was one of my earliest concubines back from when I was Crown Prince. Yes, a human woman I took as a concubine. It was a matter of great controversy at the time, but people got over it fairly quickly. Now, I had a number of elven concubines, and they were good and everything. They were pleasant to behold and even more pleasant to touch, but that human woman who I held was different. Perhaps it was the thrill of the controversy of it all. Perhaps it was the divide in species, but whenever I was with her, I was elated. I grew to sense something so wondrous that I could never even begin to fathom what was happening to me. Even now, a few hundred years later, I still can't quite pinpoint the effect that woman had on me, but I long for it dreadfully. Now, you, girl, have stolen from my nation, despite being a human. I'm sure you have figured out by now that humans are rare in this part of the world. Not many bother to cross the chasm we elves had to scale to survive and escape your putrid discrimination. And the first human to come here after generations, when that human steals from us, from our nation, are you aware of the effect that would have on a population, of this population? My elves are skittish of other races, to say the very least. However, they can be welcoming Though when the first human to come through is a criminal, you understand that has negative consequences. And the consequences are most severe on me. I rule these people. I have a name to uphold, a status. So I cannot allow a human to steal, not even a petty loaf of bread. I need to treat you as if you've committed a murder. The crime and punishment for murder in this realm, in this kingdom, is execution publicly. You understand what that means for you, don't you? It means you should be hung, drawn, and quartered with an audience of every elf in the nation. And yet, I find myself hesitating to do so. Why? I ask myself. It is because you remind me, oh so heavily, of that human concubine all those years ago. You look similar to her, perhaps a descendant. I am not sure. She had a life before me, for us. Her beauty was unmatched even by the elf standards. Your beauty holds quite a decent competition, I must admit. To encapsulate the heart of elven royalty takes beauty unbeknownst to mortals. A goddess, a spirit of beauty, of elegance, of grace. I shall speak frankly. I need you at my side. Not to rule with me, not to be my queen, but to be my pet. I need something to look at, and you encapsulate me in a way that is unbeknownst to immortal souls. I have hundreds of years left. You will do for entertainment for the next 80 or so. Perhaps longer if my magic develops. Though you are fierce, you show no hesitation or sign of fear in the face of royalty demanding you be a pet. Not even a concubine. A pet. Having a human pet would elevate my status to the elves. Other nations would come to fear me. Sure, we would make a small enemy out of humanity, but we already consider humanity our enemy. We have not forgiven what they did to us generations ago, and you will be the first of examples that I expect are to come. Don't fret. I'll treat you correctly as my pet. Half-elves can be powerful mages, if you catch my meaning. A mix between a human and an elf. So, my pet, if you entertain me enough and encapsulate, intoxicate me even more, then perhaps this will not be the last of your bloodline. Know this. I am saving you from execution, publicly. All you need to do is belittle yourself to the point where you become my pet, beautiful human. I will treat you with kindness and some respect, More than humans deserve, might I add. But I digress. Yes. Stay here, my pet. I'll be back in a moment. I have tasks to assign the royal smiths. Elven colors can be, truthfully, indestructible. I also have an address to make to my people, announcing the death of the human thief, and the welcoming of a new royal animal.